In today's episode, let's talk about generative AI optimization, which has a whole bunch of names: AI search optimization, you name it. Everyone and their cousin is attempting to create an equivalent to SEO, to search engine optimization. There's a wonderful exchange I saw on LinkedIn. Let me bring it up here. There we go. This is between uh, Tim Solo of Ahrefs and Olga Andrienko of SEMrush. And this demonstrates the utter futility of generative AI optimization, at least on the measurement side of things. It's a good practice, but you're not measuring it. Tim typed in this prompt: name 10 best tools for digital marketing professionals. And his results, Ahrefs came in first, right? Which, he's pretty happy about that. Olga then typed in this prompt: name top 10 best tools for digital marketing professionals. And of course, it returns her company, SEMrush, as the first result, and she's pretty happy about that. Full disclosure, my company, Trust Insights, we're customers of both, and we don't have a horse in this race. Don't really care. These are basically the same prompts, right? They should return the same results, right? They are not the same. They are not even remotely the same. They are very different prompts. Here's why. There's a concept called tokenization when you look at how generative AI sees content. Tokenization is how it breaks it down. So let's go ahead and let's bring up the OpenAI tokenizer, which is the tool that they use for parsing language. I'm going to type in Tim's prompt first here, and we're going to see how GPT-4o, which is the model that Tim was using, sees this prompt. 10 tokens, because remember, token is a word or a piece of word, 55 characters. There's token 1, name, token 2, space, token 3, 10, token 4, best, token 5 is tools, token 6 is 4, token 7, digital, token 8, marketing, token 9, professionals, token 10. Right? That's that prompt. Now let's take Olga's prompt exactly as she typed it. 10 tokens, 58 characters. The space is no longer a token here. Name top, so that is a token. 10 is a token. There's a space there between the two. Best tools for digital marketing professionals. These are not the same prompts. Each has 10 tokens, but they are different tokens, right? There's a spaces in a different place. There's no period here. The word top is in this one, and the word top was not in the previous one. They're not the same. So what is a token, and why does it matter in this example? In large language models, well, technically in all forms of transformers architecture models, it's the smallest unit of data that the model knows. This is why some models have trouble counting the number of R's in the word strawberry. They don't see letters. You just saw on screen. They see words and chunks of words. Tokens are how models understand what we are asking and what they respond in. That's the language they speak. Inside any of these tools and any large language model is a vast statistical network of relationships among tokens. How many times does this word appear next to this word, or this token appear next to this word, or is nearby it? And that means that these two seemingly identical prompts will return different results, including different brands, because they're not the same. In language models and in transformers, stuff like word order matters. If I type in name 10 Boston consulting firms, name top 10 Boston consulting firms, I say name 10 Boston top 10 consulting firms. Semantically, you and I think this is the same sentence, but they're not. The word order matters. The number of times the word top and Boston appear next to each other is different, and it returns different results. The nature of language models means that things like word order and punctuation matter. Top 10 best and 10 best are different. They have different statistical relationships to each other. They are linked to different training data. Ending the prompt with a period. In OpenAI's tokenizer, it matters. It's counted as a separate token, which means it's going to invoke different probabilities. I'll give you a concrete example. Suppose the model the GPT-4o model saw two different articles in its training data. One was titled The 10 Best Digital Marketing Tools, and it listed Ahrefs as first. Suppose there was a YouTube video titled My Top 10 Amazing Digital Marketing Tools, and it listed SEMrush first. When prompted, the model will prefer closer semantic matches, which means Tim's prompt will get that article, Olga's prompt will get that video. As we'll draw probabilities from those things. And so when they generate their results, they're going to be pulling from different training data that they've seen, different probabilities. And as a result, when they generate the result, it's going to be different answers. Tim's going to get Ahrefs, Olga's going to get SEMrush. Which brand is winning? Neither. Right? They invoked different part of the models. It's like if you imagine a language model being like a library, asking the librarian for the joy of cooking, or asking the librarian for cooking with joy, different books, which means the librarian's going to come back with different books, and you're going to get a different result. Neither book is better. Neither book is winning. The librarian just came back with a different book. Even though semantically, these are pretty much the same thing, they are different from AI's perspective, which means different brands are going to win for even small deviations in the language. You would probably get a different result just by adding or removing that period, which means that anyone claiming they can measure your brand strength in large language models is delusional or lying, one of the two. Unless you have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars coming up with every possible way to ask the same question per brand, not overall, per brand. How many different ways could I ask about digital marketing tools? Hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of different ways to ask the same question. And that assumes that you're starting with the very same starting point. Most people are not. Most people don't use generative AI as a search engine. They may use it to find things, but they don't use it as a search engine. We have been conditioned over the years to type in things like, best Boston consulting firm near me. You never say that to another person. And when you chat with a tool like Chat GPT, you will say things like, so I'm thinking about doing this, and maybe I've got this going on. What do you think? What's a good consulting firm that can handle this? Or what's a good SEO tool that can handle this? So there's a lot of extra words that you cannot probabilistically predict. Just the search query alone is difficult enough to predict with these deviations. But there's absolutely no way to predict in conversation what brand's going to show up. So all these people selling these, measure your brand strength, my brand strength wizard. You cannot realistically measure brand strength in a language model today. You can measure, you can't even measure apples to apples, because apples to apples is going to be different. Everything is different. Now, should you be trying to influence language models? Should you be trying to make sure that your brand is showing up in training data? Yes, you can. Can you measure the impact of that? Yes, you can. Go into your referrers and your website traffic and look how many referrers you get from Perplexity or from ChatGPT, etc. You can see that in your referral data. It is there. Can you compare with a competitor? No, not unless you have access to their web analytics. And even then, you can't necessarily tell, because that will only invoke for clickable links, not for people just having a conversation saying, what's a good AI consulting firm? Well, Trust Insights is a great AI consulting firm. What's a great consulting firm near Boston? Well, Trust Insights is a great consulting firm near Boston. You can't measure those brand impressions because there's nothing to click on. There's no traffic to send, and so on and so forth. So that is my caution to you. Do not believe anyone who says they can accurately measure your brand strength in a generative AI system today. It cannot be done in any meaningful fashion. That's going to do it for this episode. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you soon. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And if you want to know when new videos are available, hit the bell button to be notified as soon as new content is live.